Why are disclosures so important for buyers and sellers, right? So what are disclosures? So when you're buying a house or selling a house, you pretty much fill them out. It has a bunch of important things on it. And it's anywhere from like the basement and the crawl space, make sure that you never had any leaks, or if you had leaks, roof, I don't know, history of infestation, the whole bunch of important stuff that you as the seller have to be truthful in, and you as the buyer have to read, make sure that you know what you're getting, right? So, for example, let's say that you buy a house and it says that it's never had a water issue, never had any water coming in the basement, right? First, you buy the house, first week you're in it, it rains, and look at that, you have a water issue, right? But the disclosure said that there was never any water issue. Chances are, in a week's time frame, a basement doesn't magically start leaking, right? Most of the time, right? So you figure out that, hey, look, I looked at my buyer's disclosure and it said that they never had an issue with water. That's weird. And then you call around waterproofing places and you find out that the old owners, that same company was there, that the old owners called over to get an estimate on fixing a water issue. So they knew there was, I would say, a serious issue with the house, and they didn't disclose it, right? And that disclosure statement is like a legal document, right? And they lied on it. So that's why disclosure is so important. If you're selling the house, that you answer everything truthfully, right? And if there is an issue, such as the water leaking, the roof leaking maybe, or the basement leaking, or whatever it is, right? If it's addressed, then you write, yes, there was, and it was fixed on this date by this person, right? If there's a water issue in the future, you're pretty much clear because you said that there was a water issue and it was fixed, right? So it's another thing saying that, oh, there's no water issue at all and there's water coming in, right? So it's just very important to be honest on your disclosures if you're selling, and if you're buying, to scrutinize those disclosures and make sure that you are buying. You are not being lied to, right? So there are some times when you don't have to fill out the disclosure. So let's say that the house is an estate, right? No one actually lived in it, so there's no way of any disclosures being able to happen, right? Another is if it's a rental and you've never actually lived in the house. That's kind of like a gray area because you as a landlord should know all the issues with the house, but you can say never lived in house. So, but most of the time you should be able to say, yes, there was an issue with the basement or the roof or whatever, right? So, moral of this video is if you're buying a house, make sure to look at the disclosures and clearly ask, like if you see that there's like watermarks on the basement wall and the seller is saying that there's never been water issues, scrutinize that. Be like, why is there watermarks? Why is there this? Why is there that, right? Maybe there are issues just in certain instances and they didn't write it on there, or maybe there isn't. So just make sure to always ask, because things like the basement, the roof, and there's a whole bunch of different stuff on the disclosure. I don't want to go into it all, but they're very important and they can cost a lot of money. That's why the disclosures are there. Because if you're buying a house, you don't expect to spend another 10 or 15 grand to fix the foundation on it if it's leaking, or if it's not, right? If the walls are bowing or whatever the issue may be, right? So that's why the disclosures are there. And obviously, if you're selling a house that has water issues or a bad foundation, you shouldn't be getting top market, top of, right? If your house is worth 250, but it's got a bad foundation, you shouldn't be getting the 250, and the person that's paying the 250 is expecting to get a house that's nice without a bad foundation, right? So maybe your house is worth 220 or 230 or 150. Who knows how bad the foundation is, right? But anyway, hope the video helped. So always look at those disclosures. If you're selling the house, be honest. If you're buying a house, just scrutinize them. And Lucy came. No, she didn't. She's going to bed. I thought she came to say hi, but she didn't. She's just going to bed. So, hope you have a great night.